listen to my dad. He's a beast. And if you don't want to listen to him, okay, you don't want to get successful. If you ain't trying to dominate, man, then go listen to something else.
Welcome, athletes, top performers, and all those looking to gain that killer instinct, that edge you need to dominate in any environment. This is the Sports Motivation Podcast, and I'm your host, Niyi Sobo. I played ball and succeeded at the highest levels, and I'm now committed to showing you how you can accomplish the ambitious goals and visions that you have. This podcast is designed to teach you high-level strategy, not just fluff and hype. This will cut to the core if you let it. And by taking action on the practical and next level advice I share, you will see results. Expect that. Expect to be more confident. Expect to be more focused. Expect to be more decisive. And expect to be more fearless. Expect to become the leader your vision needs you to become. So listen up. Take notes. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Sports Motivation Podcast. It's your host, Niyi Sobo. I want to start being more upfront. Not that I'm not upfront, but I just feel like, there's a time and a place for everything. There is a time to be encouraging. There's a time to be motivating. There's also a time to tell you like it is. There's a time to be blunt. There's a time to have finesse in how you give a message. Aristotle, right? He said, anyone can be angry, but it takes someone wise to be angry at the right person for the right amount of time, for the right duration, for the right circumstances, etc. It's difficult. Life is a shades of gray. Why I'm telling you that is because I'm going to be honest with you today about why your coach doesn't trust you, why your coach doesn't play you more, why your coach you may feel doesn't like you. Now, obviously, I don't know your coach. That's number one. I don't know you, but I know your type. I know your coach's type. And so you might not fit into this, but I think if you're open and you're honest with yourself, you might use what I say here to open your eyes to some realities, some harsh realities that might not feel good, right? Reality doesn't always feel good, but that doesn't mean it's not good for you. Exercise that doesn't always feel good. That doesn't mean it's not good for you. Salad doesn't always taste good. Definitely doesn't taste as good as fries and a cheeseburger, right? But that doesn't mean salad is not good for you. So sometimes you need to know the truth. So first off, why am I so confident in telling you why your coach doesn't like you or doesn't trust you? Here's what I know for sure. First of all, I've played on a lot of teams. That's first. All right. I've played sports at the highest levels, all the way to professional football in the NFL. I've played with a lot of coaches, right? For the most part, I've had pretty good experiences with coaches. I've had some bad experiences as well. But I've seen a lot of players. I've seen a lot of guys go through programs. I've played with a lot of guys. And I've played on teams where we've all had the same coach, and there's certain players who claim that the coach doesn't like them or that they're treated a certain way. While I have the same coach, and I have to ask myself, am I different? Am I a kiss ass? Am I the coach's son? How come I didn't go through that? Now, there were times where I did go through things. But my point in that is I get it, all right? I've coached and trained a lot of players. I've coached. So I've been coached and I've also coached. I coach now. So let me give you some harsh realities about why you may feel that your coach doesn't trust you. So maybe you're a great player, but you're not getting enough playing time. Maybe your coach is not putting you in the positions that you feel they should in order for you to succeed. Maybe you're ignored. Maybe your coach, quote unquote, hates on you. I'm going to tell you why that might be. And then once we figure out why, then I'm going to leave it up to you actually to figure out what to do with it, all right? I got some suggestions, but like I said, I don't know your coach. I don't know your circumstance, but I got some reasons why. Number one is because you're soft, all right? Now, what do I mean by being soft? It means you're not tough. there's nothing worse for a coach than to have a player who's soft, because that means they can't rely on you when things get tough. So I can mean physically soft. I can mean like you can't, endure a tough practice. You complain a lot. If you're soft, there's no reason why a coach should trust you. There's really no reason why a coach should play you. Now, one thing I should have said earlier, most coaches want to win. Most teams want to win. Now, while most coaches are not the most skilled and are not the best coaches in the world, they all have similar goals, and that's to win, all right? So if your coach is not playing you, it's for a reason. And number one, it might be because you're soft. So are you soft? Ask yourself legit, are you soft or are you tough? We define soft as someone who can't endure tough situations, physical or mental, complains, whines, blames, doesn't take responsibility. Is that you? That's first. That's what I believe is first, all right? Number two, you act like you know what you're talking about. You have to understand, by nature of a coach's position, a coach has to have a healthy ego, right? So you're dealing with alpha types. You're dealing with guys or girls with strong egos. So here you are as a player. They've spent X amount of years developing their craft, went through the rigors of becoming a coach at a college level. Let's say you're a pro level, high school, whatever, right? And you act like you know more than a coach. You act like you know what you're talking about. So that means you question them, you disrespect them in front of other players, you roll your eyes when they tell you something, you act like you know what you're talking about. Now, you might know what you're talking about. You might actually even be in a situation where you know more than your coach. I've seen that happen. I have a client who that's the case with. But let me give you another reality. Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. I think it was, rule number 1, actually. Never outshine your master. So a really easy way to get thrown into the doghouse, if you will, is making your coach look bad. No, I'm not telling you to be a kiss ass. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But acting like you know better than your coach, like I said, maybe you do. But acting like that, showing that in your attitude and your body language, a good way to not get some playing time. So that might be the second reason why your coach doesn't show you the love you think you deserve, all right? Number 3, he can't count on you on game day. So maybe you're one of those players who goes hard in practice, who, works really hard. Maybe you're not soft. Maybe you're tough. Maybe you don't act like you know what you're talking about. Maybe you're very humble. Maybe you take criticism and feedback well, but he can't count on you on game day. You're nowhere to be found on game day. You choke under pressure. You avoid taking risks under pressure. That's why your coach doesn't like you. That's why your coach doesn't trust you. That's why you don't get more playing time. So is that you? Can your coach, can your teammates count on you on game day? Number 4, you're not as good as you think you are. That's a pretty simple one, right? All of us are delusional to a degree. All of us believe we're better than we really are. And that helps us. It benefits us. It benefited us 10,000 years ago. Some of us are overly optimistic. But you might be so delusional that you actually think you're a lot better than you actually really are. So maybe you don't really deserve to play a lot. Maybe according to the goals of your team, maybe you don't really fit in. Maybe you don't have the skill set that you think you have. And because you think you have it, you don't work as hard. You don't practice as much. You don't grow as fast. I always tell you, I was never at any stage of my development was I ever the best player on the team. Never. Literally never. But you know what was different about me than most people? I remember in high school playing against a team, Benson, right? I was from Portland. I played football at Cleveland High School. And we would always play against this team named Benson. They had so many athletes, man. Like they would always crush us. And I remember all those players on the team, they were like track stars. They were supposed to go to D1 colleges. They had hella schools looking at them and all this type of things. None of them made it to even past college, though. A couple of them went to college, did nothing really happen in college. A lot of them didn't even go to college. And they were the man in high school. Why is that? They stopped growing. They thought they were better than they were. They lied to themselves. And guess what? Coaches are pretty smart. They're smarter sometimes than you think they are. They can see it. They see it. It's pretty easy to spot those players who think they're better than they are. They're the ones who don't really like to take coaching that well. You know, Michael Jordan is funny, the best player ever, basketball. A guy who might, a lot of people might consider cocky, arrogant. You know his coach, Dean Smith? There's a great book called The Life, Michael Jordan, The Life by Roland Lazenby. Biography, thick biography, man. It goes in depth on Jordan's life. He said, you know what Dean Smith said? He said, Jordan's number one trait was that he was coachable. Jordan was amazing, but he was coachable. He didn't think he was better than what he was, and guess what? He was really good. I can probably guess that you're probably not as good as Jordan, right? So how good do you think you are? And how does that show up in your attitude? Number 5, you can't take criticism. Man, listen, nobody said being great was easy. Nobody said that, right? Maybe somebody told you that. Maybe you thought you had that idea. But a coach doesn't like a player who can't take criticism. Coach doesn't like that. Like I said, remember, coaches have healthy egos. You can't take criticism. You're basically saying the coach is wrong. Maybe the coach is wrong. But you better listen if you want to play or don't play, right? You say, well, man, my coach is an idiot. Maybe he is. You're right. But guess what? He's your coach. He's the one deciding whether or not you play. So you're going to either transfer or figure it out. By any means, figure it out. But you might not be able to take criticism. Number 6, you're a kiss ass. All right. Now, when I say that, I say the type of player who's always trying to please a coach, looking on the sidelines, checking to see if he's cool. You know, coach, is this all right? Asking a bunch of questions just to prove that you're coachable. Don't be that guy. Coaches see right through it. It's a balance, right? I'm not saying don't ask your coach questions. I'm not saying you can't look at your coach to see if he's cool, but play the game. Play your game. Don't be a kiss ass. Don't brown nose. Lastly, you don't trust yourself. How is a coach supposed to trust you and you don't trust yourself? How is a coach supposed to play you and win when you don't trust yourself? And the way you don't trust yourself is you don't take those shots. You don't move swiftly and with a sense of urgency. You don't bounce back quickly after mistakes. I love a player who bounces back quickly after mistakes. You know, Jordan said, Kobe. Kobe was talking about Darren Williams, and he was, I think he was watching Darren Williams in a game, and Darren Williams was 0 for 9. And Kobe said, you know what? I would never be 0 for 9. I have to be either 0 for 30 or I have to drop 30 points because I done got myself out of slump. But if you go 0 for 9, that means you don't have much trust in yourself to make it through to the next, to keep continuing to make shots. You got to trust yourself. When you trust yourself, you're a leader, right? Leaders trust themselves. People who have trust in themselves emanate confidence. They ooze out confidence. And guess what happens with people who are confident? People flock to people who are confident. So that means your teammates are going to want to be around you. They're going to want you in the game. They're going to play better when you're around. What type of coach wouldn't want a player like that on the field? So I want you to ask yourself honestly, are you soft? Do you act like you know what you're talking about? Can you be counted on game day? Do you act like you're better than you think that you are? Are you able to take criticism? Do you kiss ass, you brown nose? And can you trust yourself? Ask yourself those questions honestly before you start complaining about your coach. Because like I said, I don't know your coach. There's a lot of idiot coaches out there. That's a fact. There's also a lot of idiot players out there. I don't want you to be the idiot player. And if you're an idiot coach listening to this, maybe you take note as well. But this is for you, the player, all right? So this is on you. You take responsibility for your results. If you're not getting the results that you want, then find out why and do something about it. So if you can say yes to all these 7 questions, you can answer in the affirmative, in the positive, I should say. You know you're tough, you're humble and all those type of things, but maybe you need to take off. Maybe you need to go to another school, or maybe you need to be patient. Maybe you need to have a conversation with your coach. Maybe you need to ask your teammates to give you a reality check. Maybe you're out of tune with reality. Either way, it's your career. Remember that. Don't be one of those people complaining about your coach and talking about how you didn't make it to the next level because your coach told you this and that. That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for people like that. I still got friends that talk about how their coach did them dirty when we were in college, and that's why they didn't make it to the league. I'm embarrassed for them when they talk like that. I don't want that to be you. And guess what? They're not even embarrassed to say it. So what's that tell you about how delusional and how much awareness they lack? Please don't let that be you. Let's be aware, all right? Let's go. Talk soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Sports Motivation Podcast. Make sure if you dig in the podcast, go and subscribe so you can always get the latest episodes. I come out with a new episode twice a week on Tuesday and Friday at 3 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you go ahead and rate it and leave me a good review. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. One of the most common questions I get from athletes all the time is this: what is the single best thing I can do to reach my goals? How can I set myself apart from everybody else? Obviously, there are a lot of things, but the one thing that's helped set me apart was having a coach, a mentor, someone to show me the right strategies and how I need to do things specifically to achieve my results. So you could try to do it on your own, but you'll end up making many mistakes that could have been avoided if you had someone guiding you and coaching you along the way. 99% of athletes in the world have expert coaches to show them the things that they can't see. If you want to work with me as your coach, I want you to go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC and learn more and sign up for a free coaching session. I'll give you 60 minutes of my time for free, and I can teach you some dynamic strategies, plus show you how you can secure me as your sports results coach. All I ask is that you fit in this criteria. You're serious about your sport, you're willing to invest the time and money, and you have clear goals of taking your game to the next level, or some sort of specific results you want to achieve. This is definitely not for everyone, and I have very limited spots available for this. So, if this applies to you, I want you to take action. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC, and I guarantee you're going to take your game and your career to the next level.